Hello folks, I'm Scott Turner, Silhouetteoutdoors Outdoors. Today we're going to take a little venture fishing for crappie down in CJ Strike Reservoir down here in south central Idaho on the Snake River. Now CJ Strike is located about an hour and 15 minutes drive southeast of Boise and straight south of Mountain Home right off I-84. Now CJ Strike is well renowned for its smallmouth fishery, a lot of bass tournaments. In fact, there's a bass tournament going on today, I believe. There's a ton of bass boats ripping around out here. But a lot of fish. There's yellow perch, rainbow trout that they stock in here, big catfish, sturgeon. So a lot of times you do not know what you're going to pull out of here. But today we're going to concentrate on catching crappie, and a ton of them. Crappie are delicious table fare, and they're a ton of fun for everybody to catch. And you can catch these things at pretty much any skill level. You know, little kids to your grandparents. It can be a ton of fun if you can get into them. And I'm going to show you some techniques on how to find these and really catch a bunch of them. Now, I drove in this morning. I launched my boat at Cottonwood Campground. Cottonwood Campground is a really nice campground. It's been updated. They have RV hookups there. They have a really nice boat launch. The boat docks there. You can fish at the boat docks too. A lot of people do, and they do catch crappie there, but it's not nearly as effective as it coming out here in the water. And a lot of people come down there and fish with their float tubes. It's a really nice place to go. But typically what I like to do is I'll come out here and I'll start trolling for these crappie. It's a great way to locate them. And I'll start fishing right from the boat launch. I'll put my electric trolling motor on a low setting, and then I have a 2-pole permit. So I like to put a couple different lures in each one of them to kind of figure out what they're biting on. And on my first pull here, this is kind of one of my go-to lures when I'm out here. It's a shad wrap, a blue back, silver belly, and it's weighted, so it'll get down on its own. Sometimes I'll put a little split shot on there if I really want to get down low, but typically don't need it. And on my other rod, I've got my go-to jig. It's this pumpkin seed colored. It's a 2-inch curly tail grub with a 1/16 ounce black jig head on it. I don't know if the black makes a difference, but it seems to work really well for me. And on that rod, because the 1/16 ounce jig head isn't really heavy enough to get down very far, I do have a pretty good sized split shot to get that down to where the fish are. Sometimes these crappie will be right on top, but most of the time, especially like right now, it's middle of the day, they're probably going to be further down the water column. It really helps to have a depth finder to find those fish and see where they're at. But I just like to troll across the reservoir, and I like to fish the north side, mostly because there's not much access for people to fish it on the bank, and there is a lot more fish over there. And what I like to do is I'll troll just like this down the bank, and bang bang, I get a couple hits. If I get fish on multiple poles, then I'll turn around and I'll post up and I'll throw out an anchor and sit there on those fish. Because what happens a lot of times is there's a big pot of them, and they travel in big schools, and you can post up on them, and a lot of times you can catch a ton of them. Sometimes you can sit there and catch them all day, but typically what happens is you'll find a pod like that, post up, and you'll catch 8, 10, maybe even 20 fish, and then fishing will slow down, and the best thing you can do is pull up anchor and then start over. Start trolling down the bank, locate the next group, and you can really catch a ton of these crappie using that tactic. I've used it for years and years, and I put a lot of crappie in my belly that way. But this works really great. I'm going to show you a couple different ways. We're going to bobber fish a little bit. We're going to just cast with jigs, and this trolling method works really great. I've caught a couple of really, really nice crappie already. So really hope you folks enjoyed the video, and let's come on catch some crappies. Slow it down just a little bit. That's a pretty good fish. Now, when you're talking about catching nice crappie in CJ Strike, this is a good one. Holy moly. Look at that dude. I'm not real mad about not getting through my intro right there. That is a good crappie. Look at that slab. Beautiful fish. A couple more of those and we're going to be ready for some ceviche. Nice. Man, that's what I've been using. I've been catching almost all my good ones on this little shad wrap. It's a little bigger jig than normal, but man, they really seem to like it. I just cast it out too. I just caught a good one about 5 minutes ago. At this rate, I might not even make it over to the bank. This is just easy fishing right here. I'm just casting towards the shore. I let my jig fall all the way to the bottom. And I watch my line the entire time because you're looking for variances in your line. Like if you see something out of the ordinary, like a little skip in the line, a little tick, the line gets super tight, and that's typically a bite. Get a lot of bites and then drop. But what I'm mostly watching for is I'm watching for that bait to fall all the way to the bottom. And when it hits the bottom, you're going to see slack in your line. So you see slack, I pick my rod up. A lot of times, right there is when you get a bite. Right when you pick it up off the bottom, because they'll follow it down there. That's a pretty good fish. Yeah, that dude might. Nice little crappie. He's if he only knew how close he was to turning into dinner. Just a little bigger. He might have been in trouble if he was about an inch longer. But yeah, you get a lot of hits on the drop, so you really want to watch your line in that first bump, because what they'll do is they'll follow it to the bottom. And as soon as they see it move, they think it's trying to escape. That's a lot of times when you get bites. It happens a lot with smallmouth fishing, walleye. But I'll just do that. I'll walk it back out to the boat all the way. I'll just pop it up off the bottom. Well, if I ever got the chance to pop it off the bottom. It's a problem I'm not mad about. Great problem to have. But if I don't get a hit right away, I'll do that all the way back out to the boat. You catch a lot of fish almost straight down. The other thing that happens is when you sit in a spot for a long time, they'll hide in the shadow of your boat. Catch a lot of fish that way, which is kind of nice, especially if you got kids in the boat. You can just let them fish straight down because kids want to monkey with their pole, they want to cast. So if you can shorten up that range of their cast, then probably less people get hooks in their ears. See, I'm just watching it drop for any variance. And a lot of times you'll feel them. I like to, I hold onto my line when I'm jigging. I've learned how to do it over the years and I just naturally do it. A lot of people probably don't, but especially when you're finesse fishing and you got like tiny, smaller fish that are just barely pecking on it, you can feel that bite through the line. A little more sensitivity that way, like that one. Just barely pecked on it, almost straight down. Little black crappie. Man, he took it down. Little dude was hungry. Oh, hey. It's just something I've learned over the years. On finesse fishing, I don't know. I've done it so much. It's just second nature. I pretty much do it with everything. Whether I'm steelhead fishing, salmon fishing. Obviously, if I'm reeling in or trolling or something like that, I'm not going to do that. But anytime I'm jigging for smallmouth, crappie, walleye, anything like that, any little edge you can get, a little more sensitivity. Because the longer they have that bait in their mouth, the better the chance they have of spitting it out. So, I felt one right there. So as soon as they suck that thing up, especially something like a largemouth or a smallmouth has a little bit bigger mouth on them. Almost straight down. It's just really, really going to help your odds of catching more fish. The bigger fish. The small ones might have a tough time spitting that hook out. But I'm here to tell you, big old largie, that dude can suck a bait up and spit it back out in a second. That's why it's always good to have a little bit of tension on your line. Kind of cool. It's been about 50-50 white crappie and black crappies. Seems like most of the big ones have been white crappie. The ratio for good ones, I've got some 12, 14 inches. I caught one earlier that was 15 inches out here. It was a huge crappie. But it seems like the ratio's been about 50 to 1. A lot more action casting towards the shore, but it seems like on average I've been getting the bigger fish trolling with the shad wraps. About 1 in every 5 has been a nice one. And most of those are just out in the big flat of the reservoir, out in the middle. There's so many fish in here this year, it's crazy. It's awesome, is what it is. So much fun. Well, these are out deep, but here pretty soon, well, these females are getting really full of eggs. When they get ready to spawn, you're probably going to find that a ton of these crappie are going to be right up on the shore. They'll be right up in those reeds. So much fun. No, I tell you, my grandpa would have loved this. The problem is, he would want to throw any back. We'd be going back to docks with about 200 crappie. And who knows how long it'd take to flay those things. He was not one to let anything loose. He might have, but I doubt it. My grandparents loved eating fish. I kept them heavily stocked. Probably why they live so long. Now my great grandpa, he's probably the one that taught me the most about fishing. You know, getting after rainbow trout and yellow perch up at Magic Reservoir. Spent my summers up there from probably when I was 6-7 years old until I was old enough to get a real job. They would come and pick me up the day school got out in the summer. I'd spend my whole summer break with my grandparents, like literally fishing every single day. probably kept me out of a lot of trouble. And that trouble being girls. There weren't a lot of girls down on the docks or out in this boat on Magic Reservoir. No, I loved it. My grandma used to have to come down, take my fishing pole away from me, just so I'd go eat lunch or eat dinner. And that wasn't just a once in a while occurrence. That was pretty much every day. No, I'm pretty darn thankful for my childhood. My parents are probably happy to get rid of me too. Free for the summer. Maybe. I don't know, but I'm sure glad they let me go. I would not change that for anything. Man, it's just one of those days, like, seriously, like, oh, after a long winter, you just want to take it all in. It's so nice out. Ooh. That feels like a smallie right there. Decent one. This is so much fun. And you gotta get out here. Come here, big fella. Get out here, get your kids, get grandpa, get after it. Man, it's so much fun. Especially on light tackle, it's pretty tough to beat some smallmouth fishing. Now that we got a few nice crappie in the cooler, and it is definitely past lunchtime, I'm going to show you how to prepare crappie ceviche out on the boat. It's super simple. Obviously, you need some crappie, which got some pretty nice ones today, and it really helps bring a cutting board. If you try and do this on your cooler or something like that, you're gonna make a ton of mess. Cutting board by far the easiest way to do it, especially in my boat. My boat isn't exactly designed for gourmet cooking, so we're just gonna fillet them just like you normally would. Really makes it handy to have a good sharp knife. I have a Cutco knife. Love this thing. It's really nice because you can extend the blade out. When you get these big crappies, sometimes you kind of need that. And we're just gonna carefully fillet this off. And then we're gonna cut the bones out. So I got a really nice fillet right there. We're gonna cut the rib bones out. And makes it pretty easy to dispose of that. And then we're left with this nice fillet, no bones, and just good white meat. On to the next step. After you've filleted your crappie, cut the bones out, wash the meat. What you want to do is take each fillet and slice each fillet up into small pieces. And the reasoning for doing this is so that when you put it in the lime juice can easily soak through the meat completely and cook it in a timely manner. And I probably got about 1.5 pounds of fillets here, and that was probably about, I think I filleted 6 or 7 crappie to get this much. Just to give you an idea how many it's going to take. Now that our fillets are all sliced up into small pieces, we're ready for the next step, the lime juice. Now, you can bring out real limes, squeeze them out. It's going to take probably 4 to 7 limes, and it takes some time. But we're going to take the easy way out. Just bought some lime juice from the store, and what you want to do is take all this meat and put it in a bowl. It's best if you have a large bowl. One of the good things about this is if you don't have enough fish, just catch more. So now all of our meat's in that bowl. We're going to add the lime juice. And what you want to do with this lime juice is you want to completely cover all of the fish. So it's probably going to take a whole bottle of lime juice. And it's not a bad idea to put a little extra in there. So, as you can see, I have enough lime juice in there to cover all the fish. All right, folks, this is the final step to making our ceviche. So I've had the crappie fillets chopped up fine and in the lime juice for over an hour now. And then I prepared some vegetables at home that I want to add into it. I have 1 whole Roma tomato in there, about 1/3 of a red onion, cilantro, and 1 serrano pepper for a little bit of spice. A lot of people like jalapenos. A green habanero is the best. But I pre-made these so I didn't have to worry about chopping them up on the boat, making a giant mess, which there's nothing wrong with that. It makes it a lot easier. And our last step is we're just going to add all this into the meat. I'll make sure and get it all in there, especially the cilantro. The cilantro is like what really sets it off. And then we're just going to stir this up. I may have forgotten to bring a fork, but fillet knife's going to have to work. Yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh. It looks amazing, does it not? And then I love these Juanita chips. These things are so tasty. They got a little salt in them. And that's another thing, a lot of people like to put a little bit of sea salt in their ceviche, and it's excellent. But check that out right there. That is heaven in a bowl. Idaho Surf and Turf. Just to go over my bobber setup real quick, I like using slip bobbers because sometimes these fish will be clear down the bottom, and the bottom can be anywhere from 8 to 15 feet deep. And I'm still using that 16th ounce jig head, but I'm putting a split shot on here so I can get down there so my line will slide through the bobber. And then I like using these bobber stoppers. You just tie them on your line with a little bead below them, and then that stops your bobber, and you can slide them up and down your line whenever you want to. Fish. Well, that's a good one. Nice. It's good crappie. It's a nice fish right there. You're just looking for any little variance in that bobber too. A lot of times you'll just see little spools of water. You'll see it moving to the side, left or right. Sometimes it'll just sink slow. Sometimes it'll just dart down. And it helps you let it sit there, and then just jig it a little bit, pull it towards you. So that little action in that lure. These fish see that and they key in on it. They definitely key in on movement. You're going to get a lot more bites if you do that instead of just letting it sit. What can I say, folks? Beautiful day in Idaho, crappie bite was on, and we just had so much fun down here catching these. And I really hope you enjoyed the video and learned something from it. You can easily implement these tactics and come down here and catch a ton of crappie with your family, friends, grandparents, kids. There's no shortage of them, and they are delicious, as you saw. You gotta try that crappie ceviche, Idaho Surf and Turf. It was so delicious. But really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, we'd greatly appreciate if you subscribe to the channel so you can catch future videos. In the meantime, go catch your silhouette somewhere outdoors. Thanks for watching, folks.